Tonight in DTJL Broadcast News, a breakdown of the events happening at Guantanamo Bay, and a look at just what happened on the night of Michael Brown's death in the Ferguson shooting case. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Hello, and welcome to DTJL Broadcast News. I'm Penelope Flower.
And I'm Sarah Bellum.
And here are your top headlines for today. Since January 2002, 779 men have been brought to Guantanamo Bay's detention camps. Guantanamo Bay detainees have long been considered America's most dangerous enemies. However, inmates are not being prosecuted because they are believed to be terrorists and are subjected to crude forms of torture. The Senate torture report released in mid-December describes how the CIA's harsh interrogation program sought to make detainees passive and powerless to resist, using techniques from sleep deprivation to stress positions to waterboarding to induce a state that psychologists call learned helplessness. On Tuesday, December 30th, the Pentagon announced 5 Guantanamo Bay detainees were released and resettled to Kazakhstan. While Obama is far behind on his promise to close the detention camp, his administration did end 2014 with the most prisoners freed in 5 years, 28 men. There are many questions that seem to be unanswered about this topic. Tonight, our field reporter, Luke Lansing, has asked to meet with the local high school world history teacher, Mrs. Erin Folliver, to discuss this issue. To you, Luke.
Thanks, Penelope. I'm Luke Lansing, the field reporter for DTJL Broadcast News. Unfortunately, we've just received tragic news concerning Miss Erin Folliver, who died crossing a very not sturdy bridge in an attempt to hike to Machu Picchu. So, I'm here with Mr. Hunter Gordon, the local high school U.S. history teacher, to discuss the current issue dealing with Guantanamo Bay. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Gordon. Is there a specific reason why President Obama has not closed down this detention camp yet?
I know he's wanted to, and when he first became president, that was going to be his whole goal from the beginning, was to close down Guantanamo Bay. But part of it, I think, is Guantanamo Bay is not just a prison. There's also a naval base there, and there has been before the prison was even open. And so I think the fact that there's a naval base there, and that the fact that the United States may want to continue using that naval base for the future, being able to use that to kind of help out Cuba, maybe in the future, maybe help out Latin America a little bit, and South America. I think that might be one of the main reasons why they're slowly working on closing it down, but haven't done it yet.
Okay. And how will opening the diplomatic relations with Cuba affect Guantanamo Bay?
I think for right now, I don't know if I see it changing a whole lot. We'll see kind of as the two governments maybe start working together a little bit more, because I know Cuba would definitely like to see Guantanamo Bay closed down and like to see kind of that U.S. control in that area to be removed. So maybe in the future, as Cuba and the United States develop better relations with each other, and maybe through trade now that the embargo's done, or at least getting towards closing down, then maybe that we'll see eventually that they come to sort of agreement where Guantanamo Bay is removed.
Okay. Thanks for your input, Mr. Gordon. Now let's send it back to the studio for the rest of tonight's stories.
Now next up on the news, Michael Brown, an unarmed black teenager, was shot and killed on August 9th by Darren Wilson, a white police officer, in Ferguson, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis. The shooting prompted protests that rolled the area for weeks. On November 24th, the St. Louis County prosecutor announced that a grand jury decided not to indict Officer Wilson. The announcement set off another wave of violent protests, including setting fire to buildings and businesses. Some witnesses said Mr. Brown never moved toward Officer Wilson when he was shot and killed. Most of the witnesses said that the shots were fired as he moved toward Officer Wilson. The St. Louis County prosecutor said the most credible witnesses reported that Mr. Brown charged toward the officer. Officer Wilson also said that Mr. Brown charged at him, making a grunting-like aggravated sound.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining us.
And stay tuned for next week's exciting headlines.
Good night.